the Gladiator Mojave is not your best choice for off-roading. Unless you're looking at high-speed off-roading, because that's what this is set up for. You've got all-terrain tires, you've got Fox shocks under here. This is your desert runner. Has a desert-rated badge on the side. This also has the V6 in it. This is going to compete with the Tacoma TRD Pro and the Ranger Raptor. Now, the Ranger Raptor has the twin turbo V6. But what the Ranger Raptor isn't, it's not a Jeep. The Mojave comes equipped with this redesigned 7-slot grille. You get Dana 44 axles with 410 gears. You get a 1-inch suspension lift. The 2.5-inch Fox internal bypass shocks with remote reservoirs. Fox front hydraulic bump stops. You get the rock rails. And you get 33-inch all-terrain tires with 17-inch alloy wheels. Powering the Gladiator Mojave is the 3.6-liter Pentastar V6 with 285 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque. You get an 8-speed automatic transmission. A manual is optional. You get 0 to 60 in 8.3 seconds. Not the greatest, but that's not what this is made for. And your fuel economy, if it matters to you, 17 in the city, 20 in the highway, and 18 mile per gallon average. Basically, the Gladiator is a 4-door Jeep with a bed on the back. Now, the bed is not very big. It's about, probably 4 to maybe 4.5 feet long, but I don't even think it's quite that. I think it's more like 4. It is really nice for what it is, and it does have some things in the back that can be used like a truck, but of course, if you're a big truck person and you haul a lot of stuff, you're gonna want to get a regular truck. But this does have an easy down tailgate, which is kind of nice. This one is equipped with this Mopar trifold cover that just flips right on back. That is great. You do get this holder right here for the modular top, so you can take those front 2 leaves off, stick them down in here, and they are protected back here. So what you do have in the back is there are lights on each side back here, which is great. And then down here, you do have a power outlet so you can power some things. You got some great tow hooks in here. This is sprayed with a bed liner. Actually feels really good, really grippy. Now, once we put this back up, let's take a look at the back here. You do have trailer tow hookups there. You've got your hitch here. You do have some big tow bars right there, which are nice to see in the back. I like that. Oh, there is one thing I forgot. Real quick, go down, hit that subscribe button right down there, because that helps me get more vehicles like this Gladiator to bring to you guys and tell you everything about them. Now, mostly they're good, and I try to give you all the good points, but I will point out some bad things or some things that maybe just annoy me a little bit. So click the subscribe button, and that way you will know everything about every vehicle I review. Take a quick look inside. Okay, first thing I'm going to tell you is this little bungee netting here. It's really kind of worthless because if you put any bottle in here, when you shut this door, it is going to hit this handle right here or this little lumbar positioning thing that you have going on right there. And it's going to tell you that your door is not shut, or it's not shut all the way or properly. I had that actually happen to me. So you can't really put a whole lot in this netting. So for me, it's kind of pointless. Why even bother to put it there? Other than that, it's just pretty standard here. Nice hard plastic up in here. I believe this is all made for being able to clean and wash these up really easily after taking them out and having some fun in them. But this also does hurt your elbow. When you have your arm rested in here and say your elbow is like this when you're trying to drive and you're wedged in there, this really does start to bother your elbow because everything in here is really close to the door. You're really close to everything in here. It's not always a bad thing. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing, but this is my first Gladiator that I have driven, and the last Jeep that I have driven was an old early 90s model. So it's been a while, but I was not real comfortable with this hard plastic smashed into my elbow. Now you can see on these seats, you do have like a lumbar adjustment right here, and this handle raises and lowers the seat. This here is your backrest, so you're going to pull that handle and then push the backrest back. Now you can go up to the Mojave X version, which actually has powered seats if that's what you want to do. Now we're going to get on in here and we'll take a look at the rest of this. So we've got this 12.3 inch screen, and you do have several different things that you can do in here. And like this one here, you have off-road pages, and this has got vehicle dynamics. So you do have a rear locker, which is kind of nice, and accessory gauges, so you can see the coolant temp, the oil temp, oil pressure, transmission temperature, your battery. That's pretty cool. You got pitch and roll. You got a front-facing camera. So then it's going to show you your tire marks, which direction you are headed with those. All right, and then you can also do the rear. So, and let's see what we get. We get the front, go back. All right, that's it there. Let's go back out. Now you can go to trail recordings. So you can actually record your trails that you drove on, which is pretty neat. And this says adventure guides. Trails near you, preloaded trails. You can download some trails. That is all pretty awesome. I like that. All right, go over to controls. You got your dimming mirror and front-facing camera and that type of stuff. And then over here you have your profile, driver assistance stuff, which is not a whole lot on this one actually. So you got emergency braking, but other than that, you really don't have a whole lot of other things that you can do in here. If we go to comfort, it's going to bring up all your climate control stuff. And you can do all your stuff here. It's got sliders here or the arrows. You can hit sync. You can hit auto. You can maneuver all of this stuff around in the screen if you want to. Your heated seats and steering wheel. Now, what we can do is you don't have to do it up there because you have all of your buttons right here, which are really nice. So you have buttons here, or you can do them up in the screen. That is your choice. You do have navigation up here. You got a few different apps that you can go through with your media, set up your audio, and the stereo system in here is phenomenal, just so you know. Let's head over to the driver's display. This one is pretty nice too because you have some analog gauges on either side, which I like. And on this one here, it will tell you if you're in 2 high, 4 high, neutral, or 4 low. Also, you here in the middle on this one, I have it set on the average miles per gallon and range 86 miles left, but you can change those around. So you have your off-road, so there's your pitch and roll. Tire pressure, you can have just your speedometer on there. Your Android Auto is available also there. And then you have your trip information, and you have trip A and trip B. Quite a few different options in here, and transmission temp, oil temp, everything you had up on the screen earlier is available there. So you got a lot of different things to choose from. All right, we will pan back here and we're going to look at this steering wheel. Now, on the right side, you have all of your driver assistance features, which are not a lot. It's basically just adaptive cruise control, and you can adjust your spacing between you and the car in front of you. And then you have your set and resume and plus and minus. And on the other side, you have all your control for your voice activation and your telephone. And this also controls the middle screen up there. All right, let's go back over to this side, and down here you have a 12-volt plug right here. These are your windows, so that's pretty nice. You push to go down and pull to go up. You have one touch down on the driver's side, but you have to hold them to pull it back up. Over here, this is usually down, so it says media on it, so you know what it is, but you have an auxiliary plug. You have a USB-A and a USB-C. Down below that is where you have your rear locker. And it says right on it, rear only, because this does not have a front locker. You do have an off-road plus a button, which is pretty neat. And it will tell you to shift into four-wheel drive. At that time, you do have a bunch of auxiliary buttons for lights for outside of the vehicle. Gear shifter is pretty cool. It's got this little Jeep Gladiator on top. Other than that, it's just standard shifter. You just pull it back where you need to go. You got 2 cup holders back here. This has these little kind of rubbery, pushy things in here that it does okay, but it doesn't hold very small things. Like if you have a small can, like a Celsius can or something like that, it doesn't hold it real well. You do still have a traditional emergency brake, so that's good. Okay, now this center console, it has multiple compartments. So the first little handle that's underneath here, we pull that up and you have a small little tray. Like I have my sunglasses in here right now, which works out really well. But if you go back down and you grab the bigger handle down at the bottom, lift it up, and now you have the big cubby hole, which I have some safety glasses, a badge in there. There's some other items down in here. And you do have another USB-A plug right there. Its seats are lined with the Mojave lettering and also the stitching, orange stitching all the way down. And I do kind of like this diamond look pattern here. That's pretty cool. Across the front, you do have this orange stitching going along with the Mojave trim level. And I like the vents, and you got a little orange accent over there also. And then you do have your traditional handle right here. You got a glove box underneath here, which is not very big, but you don't usually keep a whole lot of stuff in there anyway. The module tops are right here, and it's just a flip of the handles and they will come right off. Now it's time to check, see how much space is in the back and what kind of things are back there for the passengers. Let's take a look at how much room is back in here. It looks decent. The driver's seat is set in my driving position. Let's get on in here. All right. I am actually pretty good. I've got about a ½ inch between me and the seat in front of me. It does have this nice little cutout that my knees can go into to give me a little bit more space. It's really not that bad. Headroom though, we are looking at about probably 3 inches there. That's good. And I think that's about it for space back here. Why don't you guys come on in and we'll take a look and see what's going on back here. This door is the same way. You've got a small little bungee thing right here. I don't know if there's more space back here. I haven't sat back here using that system with the, whether it actually closed fairly well with the seat here. I'm not real sure. Let's lift the seat up and see what's underneath here. And we do have some storage underneath here, which is good. I actually was surprised to see that. So you got some little compartments right there. Put that back down. Now let's hop in and let's see what's going on back here. So in the back, you do have bungee netting on the back of the seat, which is good. Now this is hard plastic, so you want to be careful with your knees on that. Make sure there's plenty of room. Got a couple vents right here. Here are your window controls right here. And then you do have 2 USB-A and 2 USB-C plugs right down here. And then you do have a power outlet, which is good. It's good to have some power back here. Your 2 cup holders are right down here at the bottom also. So does that mean there is no center armrest in here? So that's not great. Let's see if there's more space underneath this little section here. That opens up, and yes, we do have more storage space under the other side of the seat also. And there is your tire jack. Now, if we look above our heads, we also have giant speakers right up here in between the front and the back. Now, having those speakers in front of you is actually a lot better than having them back behind here, because then they could make you feel a little claustrophobic if you're that type of person. But while we're here, you can look and see how much space I have above my head. Like I said earlier, I am 6 foot tall and I got about 3 inches or so up here. So that's really good space in here. I was really surprised. I thought it would be a little bit tighter than this, but all right. Now I think it's time to hear about some pricing, and then let's go take this for a drive. Pricing for the Gladiator is going to start with the sport trim at $37,895. Now you can go up to the Mojave, which is about middle of the line. That's gonna start out at $56,930. And this one right here that you're looking at with all the options and the delivery charge, you're looking at $66,810. So I've been driving this for almost a week now, and there are some things that I like about it. I like the feel and I like the ride. So since this is the Mojave edition with the Fox shocks and all that, you do get a little bit better ride than a standard Jeep or a standard Gladiator. And I kind of like that. Doesn't feel like it's quite as stiff and kind of throwing you around. You do feel a little more stable and a little more comfortable in here. Now, the other thing is I have not driven a Jeep in a really long time, and I'm not accustomed to having to constantly correct the steering while I'm driving. You know, it's a lot of other vehicles that have the independent front suspension and stuff like that. You have a little easier time driving, but I'm getting used to it and used to having to work at the steering wheel a little bit more than normal, but that's been okay. Like I said, it is something I'm getting used to. And what I'm not getting used to is I drive with my left hand. My left elbow is wedged in this door where this hard plastic is that I was telling you guys about earlier, and it really makes it hard for me to actually steer with my right hand because everything is so close right here. So I've had to try to steer with my right hand, which I can do easily. It's not a big deal. It's just not as, it doesn't feel normal and natural to me. This is a desert runner, but it is not a desert speed demon. So we're gonna do a quick launch right now. We got 3, 2, 1, go. That wasn't bad. There's 50, and there's 60, so it's not bad. You know, it does have 410 gears, and it did give me a little jolt when we first took off, so it's got a little bit of power there, so not too bad. I think I could handle that. Now, the interior, I think, is laid out really nice. I love the way everything is in here. It's easy to use your climate control. It's easy to use this big screen up here. All your buttons are right down here, and it's really easy to learn where everything is and not have to be looking down at it all the time, which I do appreciate that. Jeep did a great job there. And I do like the materials that they did put in here, although like I said, I would like a softer material on this door for my elbow, but everything else looks really nice in here. The orange stitching for the Mojave looks great. The steering wheel feels really good. It's in a good, comfortable spot for me to drive. Excellent job there. I like the gear shifters. I like having a manual 4 high, 4 low, 2 high shift knob here, instead of it being an electrical button or knob to turn. Now, you probably could get better gas mileage if you didn't have these all-terrain tires on here, so maybe that is an option that you don't choose if you're not planning on taking this off-roading. I know a lot of people probably do not take their Gladiators off-roading as much as they would a traditional Jeep, but I'm sure some do. So you might think about that. You might get a little better gas mileage if you're concerned with the gas mileage on that. It's been a lot of fun. The bed of the truck is really, it's kind of one of those things that if you want a truck to have a truck because you might need to use a bed once in a while, then I get it. But if you're a truck person and you do a lot of truck stuff, this bed is not going to probably work for you real well. Well, that's all I've got for you guys. So make sure you go down and hit subscribe so we can get more vehicles like this that I can tell you about. Other than that, just click on one of the videos that's on the screen because that's the next one that YouTube or maybe I put up there for you because I think you're going to like it. All right. I will see you in the next review.